Well, friends, welcome to our program. Pro-life leader Frank Pavone here. And we are joined tonight by a special guest from Racine, Wisconsin. He is a young pro-life activist, Thadd Barr. I've been in communication with him for a long time. He joined us for our prayer service in January, as you may have seen from if you followed the video footage of that. And he keeps me updated about the many pro-life activities that he does. And I wanted to have him come on, and he's been wanting to come on as well, to talk to all of you, to encourage you on some of the things that you can do, no matter how young you might be. So, Thadd, welcome to the podcast. Nice to talk to you tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad to join. And some of the stuff, like I am in charge of ProLife Racine Kenosha. That's an affiliate of ProLife Wisconsin. My goal is to get the pro-life movement to grow in Racine and Kenosha, to get churches involved and get them to have pro-life tables, because we need to stop being afraid to speak the truth and speak out against what we think is wrong.
That's so true. We have to speak the truth, whether we're in the political realm, whether we're in the pulpit, whether we're in school, whether we're on the streets. You hit the nail on the head. We have to have the courage to speak out. And, you know, Pro-Life Wisconsin is a great group. Of course, I've known the leadership there for not only years, but decades. And I'm glad that you're an affiliate with them. And what a great work they do in Wisconsin. And I've, of course, been up there many times and look forward to coming again. You mentioned about getting the churches involved. You're very involved with getting churches activated, which of course is at the heart of our mission, and also getting politicians activated. But you mentioned an important word there about the tables, setting up tables of literature. And you've sent me various photos of some of the tables that you've set up. Tell us about that. If somebody listening now, young or old, says, you know, I'd love to be able to do that. It makes so much sense. Get some good pro-life literature. How do you, from your experience, go about setting up a table like that or getting those opportunities?
I usually talk if it's a church event, I usually talk to the priest, because the priest has the higher say in that, or the pastor, so I usually talk to the priest. I tell him about the work that I'm doing, and that I think it's a good idea to get our churches involved. So,
now, most of the time, do you get permission when you ask?
Yeah, I get permission, and then you get backlash too. And obviously, when you're in the work, you're going to get backlash no matter what. But someone's got to do the work and stand up for those who can't speak for themselves.
So tell us, Thadd, about first of all, a lot of the positive comments that you get. I bet a lot of people are appreciative of the information that you're giving them.
Yep, it's all appreciative of the information I give them. I get a lot of thumbs up and thumbs down, except sometimes when people walk up to the table and they roll their eye at you, say hi, and they ignore you, and then they run off, but you try starting a conversation with them at least, and sometimes they ignore you, but most of the time you can have good conversations with them. So,
yes, those conversations can be life-saving. What's some of the pushback that you've gotten?
Well, some of the Knights of Columbus at my church, that are misinformed, and they are afraid to speak the truth, and I left my council and joined a different council because they were more accepting of the work that I was doing. They kind of pushed me out of being able to do a table at my church, and I don't think that should have ever happened. And the priest is working on trying to convince them to allow me to do work next year, so hopefully stuff can change. And I think there's going to be a pro-life revival in the churches sometime, and it's great to get our priests involved too on a pro-life issue.
Yeah, we, of course, you know, we're always encouraging the priests to step up to the plate. And, you know, a lot of times when I do conferences for priests, I say to them, you know, it's not that we're asking you to do all these different pro-life works. What we need is your blessing and your encouragement, because as the shepherd of the flock, they've got to recognize, you know, the commitment of people like you. And like St. Paul said, fan into flame the gift of the Spirit. So the Spirit gives us gifts. He gives us knowledge of the issue. He gives us, like you have, a passion to speak the truth. And our pastors are supposed to be fanning those flames, not squelching those flames. And of course, both you and I. Yeah, go ahead.
It's like these pastors forget about what did Jesus do? Why did they persecute Jesus? Why did Jesus call the Pharisees? And they forget about all that stuff. So.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you've also been involved in the political realm, and you know, we have to elect the right kind of candidates. Tell us what your message is about that and how you get your message out on the political realm.
So I post on my social media page, which is great. We need more younger people to post on social media pages. I just signed up to volunteer this week for my birthday week to volunteer. Started on my birthday. I did some door knocking for one of the candidates and got people to get people out to vote. And it's important to vote because we got a primary in Wisconsin and other states too. But we got a primary in Wisconsin. There's a lot of people who know that the Democrats are having socialists and communists in their parties, and we don't need socialism or communism in the United States, and it's very concerning. I think it's a good thing that we get young people out to speak out against those things, but also encourage people to vote for the right people and tell people, look at their policies. One party supports late-term abortions, the other party, we may not agree 100%, but we get together and we get people out to vote for our candidates, and it's so that's.
Yes, you know, some people talk about, well, you know, the Republicans are not strong enough on the issue, and we're always trying to make our candidates and our public officials stronger. But the fact is, it's a binary choice, right? I mean, we're not talking about what we have with the Republicans and then a party that's even better. All we have is what they're doing, and then we have something that's far worse. Talk to us a little bit more about how extreme on abortion these Democrats are.
Yeah, the Democrats are, especially the communist candidates that are running, they support abortion up to birth. Some of them, they might support it after birth too because of the assisted suicide that, let's look at Illinois, they just signed their assisted suicide bill. That's so.
Yeah, it's a culture of death. It's a worshiping of death. I always quote, you know, what the terrorists say. It's a quote attributed to Osama bin Laden, but he said, "We win because we love death more than you love life." And I often quote that at pro-life speeches. I say, well, we have to make sure we love life more than they love death. But the sad thing is they do love death. And that's the only way sometimes to make sense of the bizarre positions that they take. Wisconsin, of course, is a battleground. You know, what are some of the, in these, like you were doing some door knocking, right? So let's go back to that. What kind of things do you say to the voters there in Wisconsin who open the door when you knock?
Well, I just say we want lower property taxes because the candidates, the Republicans, if they're Republican, I'm going to say that, but we also try to encourage them that lower property taxes. I mean, one day I had one of the guys who, as soon as we said lower property taxes, he shut the door, and it was like, really, you don't want lower property taxes?
Wow.
Are you tired of the Democrat Party ripping us off? And a lot of people don't understand that. Yes, we may have the Congress or whatever in the state, but we need the governor so he can sign our bills because he vetoes a lot of our bills.
Yes, yes. Well, for those of you that are just joining us, we're talking on the phone with Thadd Barr. He is an affiliate with ProLife Wisconsin. He's up there in Racine doing some great work in the political realm, activating churches, doing the kind of things that we want to encourage people young and old to do. So the door knocking, Thad, what group is that connected with?
That is the Racine Republican Party.
Okay. So if people out there who are listening to you say, hey, I'd like to get involved in door knocking too, what do you recommend that they do? How do they get
I
started?
would say either call the Republican Party office, ask how do I get the literature, how do I start with door knocking, and they'll give you the information, and they'll get you started, or you can stop by their offices too. So
That's right. And did they give you like a training session? And when you go out, are you there with another person or a few people, or how does that work?
I'm with another person. I kind of did it the rookie way, which isn't really. I didn't get trained, but I was with another person, and I did it like a pro. So
Okay. Well, you learn from, if you're with someone who's been doing it, that's one of the best ways to learn right there on the trail, so to speak. And of course, these doors that you're knocking on, it's not random, right? You have a pre-filtered list of persuadable voters, right?
yeah. So
That's important, yeah. So people don't think that it's going to be just, it's not going to be a complete surprise. People always surprise us one way or the other, but you do have these pre-sorted lists of voters. Well, Thad, I thank you for everything that you're doing. What are some of the next activities that are coming up, and what else would you want to say to our audience?
So I am going to be doing a pro-life table at the Racine County Fair, July 29th till August 2nd. I'm trying to get people to volunteer, and you can follow me on ProLife Racine Kenosha on Facebook. So
ProLife Racine Kenosha, yes. And once again, great people there with ProLife Wisconsin, great organization. Dan Miller is heading it up now, and we saw you with Dan on the bus right out in front of the Basilica, right? Remember that at the March for Life? You guys were the first bus that I saw. I was there. I usually go there the night before the march to greet the pro-life people that are coming for the Mass, and as it turned out, you guys were the first ones I saw. You go all the time to the March for Life, right?
Yeah. I plan on being there again next year and joining the prayer service again too. So
now, I want to ask you also a couple more things before we finish here. President Trump, I've supported him all the way since 2015. It's hard to believe now it's been 11 years since he first set out on this path to the presidency, and he has won, of course, a second term. And he's really done more for the pro-life movement than any other president. What are your thoughts and feelings towards President Trump?
yeah, I think President Trump has done more for the pro-life movement, and we have some disagreements, but I'm not going to focus on the disagreements. We need to focus on stuff we agree on, because if we unite together in the pro-life movement, we get stuff done. And a lot of people want to divide from Trump, and I think that's not a reason to, because no one agrees 100%, and Trump wants what's best for our country, and he's trying to save our country, and he's trying to save the babies too, and so.
Oh, well, I agree with you completely. And, the good thing is that despite those that sometimes, I think there are people on our side of the fence that want to make it seem like a big rift is occurring when it's really not. Because the polling is very clear that President Trump's base is very strong. His approval rating has been steady ever since he's been reelected, and it's basically corresponded to the margin he got in the popular vote. He's got half the country in these polls that people that respond are with him and approving of what he's doing, and that's unusual for a president. Usually, your approvals go up and down a lot more than his do, based on the current state of the world or the legislation that's being fought about, or other circumstances. But his support is very steady, and I think a lot of people can identify with the way that you just described it. So final question here, and then you can tell people again how they can follow you on social media. But if somebody asks you, oh, why are you so concerned about abortion? There's so many other issues. How do you explain to them that this is the number one issue we need to be concerned about.
So, yeah, so if you think about Germany during the Nazis, they killed a whole bunch of people, and they killed a whole bunch of people, and then they're still doing it today to the unborn babies, and it's sad to see that happen. And I tell people, you may not agree with me, but I said, please do the research, look up the research. I give them the pamphlets on the baby display and the sizes of the babies that can help too. And maybe if I say something and they don't agree with me now, then maybe it will pop up in their head later and they'll change their mind. And that's so.
Isn't it a great feeling when you can change someone's mind and then they thank you, right? They thank you for enlightening them and giving them the information they didn't have.
Well, could I give an example for one of the social media posts I posted last year, about over a year ago? Someone commented and said, I'm thinking about getting an abortion. The post was, guns don't kill, abortion kills. And I told her I can get you the free help. I gave her the hotline. She chose life for her baby, and that's just as important as posting or praying outside of Planned Parenthood is good too. Yeah, but posting on social media pages can help change people's minds too. So.
Absolutely. Well, God bless you for doing that. And that's a benefit that lasts for all eternity when we're able to save a life. Nothing better than that. Remember the old rabbinic saying that he who saves one life, it is as if he has saved the whole world. So Thaddeus Barr, thank you for helping save the world from this violence of abortion. I'm always glad to be in touch with you. I'm sure our audience is happy to hear what you've told us tonight. And once again, how can people find you online?
You can find me on Facebook. I'm only on Facebook since I don't know how to do post multiple social media pages. But I'm on Facebook. You can look me up, ProLife Racine Kenosha, and I also do a rosary on a different page almost every single night, except for the days that I'm busy or doing a fair. But the rosary page is Rosary for an End to Abortion. It's got a picture of Mary and it says Rosary for an End to Abortion. I think it's the only thing that shows up, the only page that shows up when you look up Rosary for an End to Abortion. And it's same thing with ProLife Racine Kenosha too. So
beautiful. Well, thank you. I'm sure people will connect with you and keep up the good work. Keep up the prayers. We're praying for you, and we will see the end of abortion, as I always tell people. Thank you for being part of making that happen. God bless you, Thaddeus.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Gina from American Sunrise Show on Real America's Voice, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank Father Pavone and his entire team for everything they do there for life all the time. Some of you know that I went all the way through Catholic schools. I always say I know enough about Catholicism to be dangerous, but it's true. But I'm not Catholic, and I think that's really important because I know what it takes to be a strong Catholic for life because I know the mechanics of it. But I also appreciate so much that somebody from the Catholic faith is carrying the torch in the ways that I think it should be carried. You know, I've said many times, I've interviewed Father Pavone countless times, I've known him for decades, and I've said many times that he is one of the most courageous Catholics I've ever known. And I think that's so important as we go into an age where the battle we wage is not against flesh and blood. He is one of the greatest warriors in the movement, and the things that he and his team have done for life, I think is so important. So I hope that you not only pay attention to his show, but that you support Priests for Life and that you support Father Pavone personally, because he is a humble man who doesn't tell you about all the battles, but trust me, he could always use your support and your love, and perhaps even most importantly, your sincere prayer. And so thank you for all you do to support Father Pavone and Priests for Life, and please continue in the next generation. The time is now, and we need it more than ever. God bless you and keep you. Go boldly now and live the truth.
Hello, this is Father David Begany, one of the many members of Priests for Life. This organization is one of the largest and most visible pro-life ministries in the world. The Priests for Life team relies on your financial support to be able to do its work, produce its programs, and travel the world to advocate for the unborn. May I ask you to support Priests for Life generously? Go today to prolifegift.org and give us as generous a gift as you can. Thank you for your kindness, and be assured of our prayers for you every day.
Follow him, Frank Pavone, Fr. Frank Pavone. He is the National Director of Priests for Life. Please go to priestsforlife.org.
Frank Pavone. Frank, thank you